Welcome back to Solo Marvel Champion, where today I want to give you my favorite card from Maria and Nick and give my brief thoughts on the campaign structure for the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. campaign. We'll start with Maria, and I actually want to start on her alter ego. She has this action, Exhaust Maria Hill, search your deck for a shield support and add it to your hand. On hero side, she has this reassignment action, move one all-purpose counter from a shield support to another shield support. So with those two things in mind, my favorite card is a shield support, but it is not the Iliad. Now, I do love the Iliad. It does a lot of work. Deal 5 damage, or remove 4 threat, or heal 3 damage. That is a great card. It comes in with 3, and then you can add counters to it in a variety of methods in Maria. But I don't like to use her alter ego action to grab this or any of the big helicarriers on the first play, because I feel like that's all you're doing that turn, and I like to get as much stuff on the table as I can on the first turn of the game. So my favorite card is actually Support Staff. Uses 3 counters, 1 cost. Resource, exhaust this and remove a counter, generate a wild. Now that makes it just like Web Shooter, right? Uses 3 counters, exhaust it, remove a counter, generate a wild. But Web Shooter is going to run out of counters, and Support Staff should never run out of counters. Move a counter from something else to here. You have cards that just add counters to shield supports. Her signature ally, Nick, will do that. After he activates, place a counter on a shield support. So this is a cheap wild resource generator that should stay in play the entire game, and it is tutorable on the first turn. You can, if you want it, have this in play on turn 1 and keep it in play for the entire game. That's why I love Support Staff so much. Next, let's go to Nick. I've had fun with both Maria and Nick, but I do prefer Nick over Maria. I've just had more fun with him. My favorite card for him really revolves around my playstyle. I love to stay in stealth as long as I can. It has this interrupt. When an enemy would attack you, it schemes instead. Place 1 threat from that activation here instead of on the main if there is 5 or less threat on this card. So as long as you don't go over 5, you can steal a threat from this scheme activation every time. The problem is sometimes you do end up with 6 or more threat on here. So my favorite card helps siphon some of that threat off of your suit. I do like Fury's Watch. This will siphon some threat. Exhaust it, remove up to 2 threat, generate a mental for each one removed this way. I do love this card, but it's not my favorite. My favorite is Concentrated Fire. 2 cost event, so you could pay for this with the watch and remove 2 threat. Hero action, deal 4 damage to an enemy. This attack gains ranged. I'll read the rest of that in a second. We need to go look at Nick. Forced interrupt, when you attack, change to assault. So playing Concentrated Fire is an attack and makes you go from stealth to assault. This also has an interrupt. When you attack, remove up to 3 threat from here. This attack deals 1 additional damage for each threat removed that way. So now, let's say you've used the watch to siphon 2 threat off of your stealth suit in order to play Concentrated Fire. You still have 3 left. You attack a minion, or even the villain if you can defeat them, because the rest of this card says, if this attack defeats an enemy, choose. Place threat on your suit equal to the enemy's printed scheme, or change to stealth. So as long as you can defeat the enemy you are shooting at here, you get to go right back to stealth, and you now don't have any threat on your suit, so that this ability can continue to proc. So for me, Concentrated Fire, hands down, my favorite. You get to deal damage. You get to deal potentially up to 7 damage and not take Retaliate. And then, if it defeats that enemy, you change back to Stealth Suit. You're sniping from the distance. They have no idea where the shot came from. It's thematic, and mechanically, it allows me to stay in stealth form. I absolutely love this card. Fantastic design. All right, now I'm going to put up my shield, spoiler shield, so that I can scroll down. I want to talk about the campaign system for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, going into Age of Apocalypse, I thought I was not going to like the campaign system in that campaign, and I did not. I didn't like it at all. So I was pleasantly surprised when I saw this campaign system, thought the same thing, I'm not going to like this, but then I ended up really liking it. At the beginning of the campaign, each of these officers goes into play with 2 secret counters on them. If there are 4 or more secret counters here, you flip them to an attachment, and if the villain gets all 3 attachments, you lose the game. You're also losing the campaign if all 3 of these get flipped over, because you can't flip them back. One of the things I love about them is after the scenario, you record how many secrets are on them. And in the next scenario, you put that many secrets back on. So if you have the ability to clear all of them in a scenario, then next scenario, they start with no counters, which is nice. But we do have some other things going on here. They are resource sinks. And I like having a resource sink because it gives me an option. It gives me a choice. Do I use, let's say, Genius to play Maria Hill, who's going to draw me a card and thwart 2, or do I use that to remove a secret counter from him and remove 2 threat from a scheme that way? Number 1, you don't want him flipping, so you want to put counters, or to remove counters. Number 2, at the end of the scenario, if at least one of these doesn't have any counters, you get to get an evidence card. Now, the way the evidence works is fun too. This is like Clue. So you've got a stack of means, a stack of motives, and a stack of opportunity. You shuffle each of those separately, and then take 1 from each stack and put them in the aim envelope. That's like Clue, right? This is your who did it, what weapon, and where. That goes in that envelope, and that's what you're trying to deduce. The other cards that weren't put in the aim envelope are put in the shield envelope as evidence. And at the end of that scenario, if one of these has no counters, you get to take an evidence card from the shield envelope, and 2 things happen. Number 1, you get to cross every row on the campaign log off that has that piece of evidence in it. So I'm going to click here, even though it's not going to come out very good on screen. It's difficult to read. In this case, it was a means card that is wiretap. So you get to cross off everyone, or not everyone, but you get to cross off every row on your campaign log that has wiretap as its means. That helps you over time deduce who the mole is on the board. But there's another benefit to these cards. That is the setup ability. So of course you set up the villain, you set up your hero, you do the campaign setup, and maybe the campaign setup happens before setting up your hero. But then you draw cards, mulligan, and then you do your setup abilities. Well, this is a setup ability that happens after mulligan. In this case, each player may add one secret counter to a board member environment to search their collection for a different Justice ally, in this case, and shuffle it into their deck. So all of the aspects except for pool are represented here. This could be aggression, protection, leadership, or justice. This one is an ally. I've seen supports and upgrades as well. Shuffle it into your deck. New sentence, each player may add one threat to the main scheme to search their deck for whatever it was that you just added. So another reason I like this so much is this doesn't get super overpowered. I love the Next Evolution campaign. It's my most played campaign. I've played it 28 times at this point. And I like it so much because it makes you super powerful, super quick. The way the campaign structure works in that campaign. Here, you do get a little bit of power, but number one, this is random. The evidence card you get is random. So you can't say, oh, I want to add Quake to my deck, so I want to get the wiretap evidence. That's not how it works. The card you get here is random. That's the first thing. Second thing is, there are two costs here to really benefit from the card. You have to add a secret to a board member just to go get that from your collection. Now, you might not want to add threat, or you might not want to add secrets to those board members, because you have to remove those counters to be able to get more evidence. And if you leave, if all of them have at least one, you're not going to get new evidence. The second piece of cost here is you add threat to the main to go fetch whatever card you just shuffled into your deck into your hand. So depending on the cards you choose, that could be very powerful, but it comes at a cost, and the ability itself is random. So I love this campaign system. Did I just see? There he is. This is Maria's signature ally. Responds after he uses a basic power. Place one all-purpose counter on a shield support. That's so good, especially with that staff counter. Now, you might want to put that counter on the Iliad to keep it going, but I really like putting counters on the staff, so that it'll stay around. Anyway, I love this campaign process. I love the campaign structure. It doesn't get super overpowered super quick because there's the randomization, and then there are the costs for getting the thing you want. And again, I love this resource sync. It really gives you a choice of what you want to / can do on your turn. Do I use my strength to play what doesn't kill me, or use it to remove the last counter from here and deal 2 damage to an enemy? Also, this is not an attack, by the way. This is not a thwart. So I love these abilities. There are some enemies you don't want to attack for various reasons in this campaign, and this gets around that. That's not an attack. It just deals 2 damage. So I love the resource sync. I love the evidence cards, and I thought I was going to hate this. I really thought that this was just going to be tedious and awful, but I love this quite a bit. So those are my thoughts. Those are my favorite cards for Maria and Nick. The support staff, I was going to call it the staff counter. The support staff for Maria, and concentrated fire for Nick, and my thoughts on the campaign. That's all I wanted to say today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a marvelous day.